Yo, what is going on here with the Boruto Chapter 56 review? This chapter was a little bit more condensed. A lot of background information that I covered in the spoiler video, which I'm going to talk about it again, probably in a little bit more depth. But the chapter really just talks about sort of the background of like Kara and Amado, and a little bit more info about Ko. We gotta get like his powers and whatever. But it's gonna go ahead and start just talking about it and breaking down what happened in this chapter. So kind of give a rundown of beginning events. Boruto's being interviewed, and Kawaki is currently getting his arm fixed with Sumire and Dr. Katasuke. So Kawaki's arm is now back, and Team 7 and Inoshiko Cho are all talking about what happened and what went on during the events. And basically Team 7's not able to go on any missions from now on, so for the main reason of just Boruto has to be watched 24/7 just in case he turns up and starts wrecking stuff. So Boruto's basically going to be on 24/7 watch, I guess, until they can figure out a solution for this. So I guess that's pretty much the reason they disbanded. But moving on, kind of want to get to the juicy stuff here. So Kawaki and Boruto are talking, and Kawaki is talking to Boruto about the karma mark, and they're talking about like, Ayo, eventually you're going to be taken over by Momoshiki. And Kawaki has this bright idea similar to Jigen, where Kawaki wants Boruto to place a karma on someone else. That way he can resurrect in somebody else's body, and Boruto will be able to live and get rid of the karma at the same time. And the person that he wants to have Boruto place his karma on is Code. So he wants him to place his karma on Code, resurrect in his body, and come back alive. So I guess that's his plan for now, or just sort of like a theory that they have, which isn't a bad theory, of course, because Code was able to survive the experience, which we'll talk about in just a second. So basically Amado is talking about Code. They transition that really nicely, and Amado says something really interesting here, but he says that he's the last Kara Inner left, which is actually incorrect, I think. First of all, I think Kashin Koji is still out there somewhere, right? Technically, we saw Kashin Koji leave, and we know that Delta's only shut down. She's not dead, is she? So I think Amado is definitely holding back some information still, because when he says that he's the last Kara Inner, that doesn't sound 100% correct. So he needs to be, well, they need to be still very very careful, because Delta and Kashin Koji have not been seen for a good bit now. Okay, and one of the things they mentioned about Code too is Naruto asks Amado if Code has space-time ninjutsu. Well, basically if he's able to freely go from wherever he is to the Ten Tails, and Amado kind of just says no. There's other abilities that make that possible, so it's not like, I guess he can't just like pop up in the Hidden Leaf Village whenever he wants to. I guess that's what they're trying to basically say. So I guess they don't really have to worry about being attacked right at this moment, but they need to be prepared for it. So we finally get to see Code in action, and Code pulls up to the Boro's religious cult facility, whatever you want to call it. I kind of had an idea about this last chapter that I'm actually going to expand on next week, but there's basically some guards outside, and they pretty much use this chance as a way to showcase his abilities. So Code has these like claws that extend from his fingers when his karma mark activates, and it looks really like eerie, and it looks low-key kind of weird, because like it seems like he just has like extra long fingers. But I like the design, I like the concept, and it looks pretty cool. Now you're probably gonna look at his fingers, right, and you're probably gonna be thinking after this scene like, hey, maybe it's Code that gives Boruto the scar, which is a possibility, right? But I feel like every time we see somebody with like either a sword or some sort of sharp object, and we think he's gonna give him the scar, it just doesn't turn out that way. So I'm just gonna let the story run out, but just know that Code is another possibility for Boruto's scar. And Kawaki's basically running down that Ko was the other person that survived the experiments, which a lot of people were correct about that. I kind of figured that was the case, because in one of the panels too, they kind of zoom in on it, but there's another kid in there that survived, which is of course Code, and Kawaki's basically explaining it and saying that it's basically a ritual where Otsuki vessel candidates are given the karma, and if you basically have a seizure and die, which is horrible, like god damn. But basically there was only 2 people that survived, him being Code and Kawaki. Ko was unable to be a full vessel, so only Kawaki was chosen as Jigen's vessel, basically. So those are Ko's, background and whatever. One question I have too is, I don't know if they're gonna expand on this a little bit more, but I kind of want to know the reason to why Kawaki and Code survived that. Is it their genetic makeup? Like what is the exact reason? I wish they would more so expand on that reasoning, because I'm kind of curious, like why did those 2 specifically survive those experiments? What makes them so special? So yeah, that's kind of my question about it. Maybe it'll be talked about some more, but Ko's showing off some of more of his abilities, and he can kind of like teleport to these like band things, so sort of similar to that thing on his head with like the little, I guess, white dots on it. He can like place them on objects and place them on surfaces, and he can basically like put his hand through it and sort of like use it for like sneak attacks and like stabbing people from behind. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty dangerous because he placed one of them on one of the cult members and shoved his claws through his chest. So Code is no joke. He is not to be messed around with. He's actually pretty crazy now. That seems like a pretty broken thing to just place something like that on somebody's chest and then impale them. So yeah, but a little more info about Code. Code is basically he has the same. Code basically has the physical the benefits of the karma mark, but he just can't be a vessel, and he has a limiter placed on him, I guess on his head, that is restricting some of his power. And what Amado basically tells us is that he created a whole bunch of cyborgs that were stronger than Jigen, not Ishiki, stronger than Jigen, and he was basically told to get rid of them. But because Code has such like a strong devotion towards the Otsuki, and he basically worshipped Ishiki and Jigen, whatever, he was allowed to stay, but he has a limiter on his head, just in case. And here's another question I kind of want to bring up too, is how does Amado, out of all people, have the knowledge to make these cyborgs that are stronger than Jigen, right? I don't know, that's kind of one of the things that they need to explain too. And I know a lot of people are gonna have issues with like the whole cyborg thing, but my main concern is, how does Amado even have the technology, the knowledge to even do all this? Because I would think if anybody that would have the knowledge to be able to even, I guess, get something close would be Orochimaru. But I'm kind of curious, how does Amado even, like, how did you discover this? We need more background info on Amado, and we're not really getting that. We're only getting like what he's done, but we're not getting like, hey yo, where he's from, how did he learn? Like, we have nothing on Amado really much, like really. So I need them to sort of expand on Amado's character some more and explain how he's able to make these like OP cyborgs, because that by itself is a feat alone. And I'd even say that Amado is the strongest character in the universe if he can just make these OP cyborgs and then control them. I don't know that's an OD statement, but someone that can just make cyborgs like that and then I guess he could potentially control them is pretty wild to me. And that's kind of where he said that he came up with a scenario for Kashin Koji, which is interesting because Kashin Koji, I guess he wasn't stronger than Jigen, but he was only able to kill Jigen because Naruto and Sasuke already weakened him. So very interesting there. But yeah, pretty much Amado is the only person that can get the limiter off of Code. So we're pretty much good there as long as Code doesn't capture Amado. And this chapter is going to pretty much sum up with a Hokage summit. We're going to pretty much have a Hokage summit talking about the events and filling everybody in. But finishing up the chapter, we got Code, and he meets up with this guy named Bugs. And he's basically asking for this cyborg named Ada. And Code reveals that Boro has stored several other cyborgs here that Jigen wanted to be scrapped. So I'm not sure what Boro's exact motives were. Maybe Boro was going to try to take over Okara or whatever, but I guess basically what Code is going to be doing here, if Code is the only car member left, minus Delta and Kashi Koji, just giving us, just kind of breaking down the information they gave us. I guess he's just going to be creating his own new car, basically, which I actually kind of like, because I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I feel like Kara just kind of got wiped out really quickly. Like, they just showed up and then they didn't really have that much impact, So I kind of like how the cars getting extended a little bit more, and we're getting new characters. But yeah, chapter ends with this cyborg named Ada, and apparently Ada knows everything in this world. So, and she has so she seems pretty old. She knows everything in this world, and I'm really excited to get to know this character some more. So, really interesting chapter. I hope next chapter we kind of get the Hokage summit, and I hope the Hokage start pressing Amado, because it still amazes me that this one guy is able to do all this by himself. Like, where was he at like 20 years, like 10 years ago? Like, that's what I'm saying, dog. Like, this man, I don't know. But yeah, Code seems like he's gonna be a menace. He's definitely gonna get his limiter off. Like, that's gonna happen at some point in the story, because they mentioned it for a reason. They're not just gonna give him a limiter and not have it being taken off. So, man, Code on his limiter is going to be crazy. I don't know why Samira was on the front cover of this chapter. I don't. She only had like a couple of lines, but hey, it is what it is, right? But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the chapter review. Not as exciting as the previous chapters, but we got some more background info, and we kind of actually know what Code does now, so that is cool. Gonna be getting a whole new car and everything like that. But hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and join the Discord, and I will see you guys later. Peace.